Sometimes when you haven't been in this box in a long time, you forget to turn your mic on. Hello again, everyone. Steve Beverly here with you. And if you were not with us last night live on E+ TV6, you missed a dandy. That is if you were a Christian Brothers fan. It was 66 all with 1.6 seconds remaining. A pass went from one end of the floor to just about 10 feet behind the free throw line, and it was dished off to Aiden Rusatz, who was the smallest guy on the floor, but he shoots 40% of his three-pointers, and he banked that thing home, and Christian Brothers upset Union 69-66. So it was a fantastic finish if you follow Christian Brothers. It was Heartbreak Hotel if you're a Union fan. So the two teams are getting ready to get it back together again. Once again this afternoon, it's the final regular season game in the Gulf South Conference season. Union is 10-7. And Christian Brothers is coming in 3-10. But here's what happened last night. It somewhat messed everything up because had Union won, it would have sewn up a home court game Tuesday night in the Gulf South Conference tournament. So it is putting more pressure on the Bulldogs today because they have to win today and hope that West Alabama loses in order to guarantee that slot for home court advantage on Tuesday night. That's just frankly the way it is. If Union loses and West Alabama wins, West Alabama gets that slot and Union has to go on the road. The Union women are at Christian Brothers today. They had a handy victory last night, 97-79 behind the 32 points of Shanique Lucas. And so looking here at my notes, Union's women will play on this floor at Fred DeLay Gymnasium Tuesday night against West Florida. That'll be coming in with a 9-9 record. Well, looking how everything went last night, Dave Niven and the Bulldogs are trying to put it behind them, but we talked to him earlier about how difficult it is to play the same team 21 hours later on the same floor.
What has it been like for a coach to have to navigate these waters? Because I know you've had players that have been on quarantine.
Yeah, every player has been, and coach has been on quarantine at one time or another. Some of them multiple times. So fortunately, we have not had to deal with it a lot in the last month or so. We've had one player on quarantine in the last month, but most of the issues we dealt with were in the fall and in the preseason. So practice was hard to come by. We had a lot of practices with 4 or 5 guys. We had to be creative to figure out what you're going to do in those kind of practices to have a meaningful experience. But it's been a challenge for us, just like everybody else. It's just, you try to have a little creativity and come up with some innovative ways to get things accomplished. I do feel like it gives us the opportunity to really help focus our players on being in the present and not looking too far ahead, not thinking about, a postseason or, a future opponent that they may be excited about playing, because they know better this year than any other year. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. And every week there are cancellations. So I remind them before every game, hey, this could be our last game of the season. So let's go out and have fun. What would we want it to look like if this was the last time we got to play this year? And so I think that speaks to them. I think we've done a pretty good job as a team of staying present and being focused on what we can do today.
Well, let's take a look at how it's going to shape up this afternoon between these two teams and the rematch less than 24 hours later. Here are your starters for Christian Brothers. Jesse Payne, the fourth. He starts at one of the guards. And then it's Aiden Rusatz. He was the hero of last night's game with that 35-foot bomb that won it as the horn went off for Christian Brothers, 69-66. And last night he had a performance of his career as he laid home 11 points, but all of the ones he had were in the clutch. Then you got Daryl Lewis. He will go at number 13. Lewis is another huge contributor to this team. He ended up with 15 last night. That was well above his average. Nick Deifel is the one who's usually the go-to scorer. Deifel last night was held to 9 points, which is about 4 below his average, but he had so much help from his teammates that it didn't really matter. And DeCorian Payton, he will be your 5th starter, and Payton last night, he came in with just 1 basket. But let's face it, they needed every one they could have in that victory. Let's go to your starters for Union. J.C. Hawkins, and he's a guy that they just have to count on to deliver in the clutch. He'll be going at one of the guards. And then Justin DeBuck last night, he had a tremendous outing all the way across the board, and you can't fault him for Union not being able to carry it home. Hunter Vick, last weekend, you saw him in the games that we had here. Hunter Vick was all over the place, and if he's on his game, I can guarantee you that it could very well be a different outing today. Dusan Djordjevic, he will be going at the post, and then Ty Parks, also known as Talandrius, he will be going at another one of the forward positions. And so there you go. That's your starters for Christian Brothers and Union. As we mentioned, Christian Brothers comes in at 3-10, and Union at 10-7. But Union has, I would not say put its back to the wall, because they're guaranteed of a slot in the Gulf South Conference tournament. But the difference is Union has to win today, and West Alabama has to lose in order for Union to have a home game this coming Tuesday night. If it goes the other way around, if Union loses and West Alabama wins, then here's what happens. Union hits the road, and they'll be playing the number 2 team out of the eastern half of the division, which is probably going to be Lee University, although that's still up in the air because they could overtake Valdosta State. So that's the way it is, and this should be another thriller. You cannot, at this stage of the game, and particularly with the emotional up and down season, because Christian Brothers almost had to pack it in at one point because of all of the medical restrictions and protocols that were placed on them and all athletic programs down in Shelby County. But they persevered, and here you go. They're back here, and we're getting ready for our invocation and the Star-Spangled Banner, and you will also be seeing the starting lineups introduced to the fans that are here today. So let's send it down to Stephen Aldridge.
At Union University is a Christian institution we celebrate that the Bible affirms every human being is made in the image of God, and that we enjoy critical freedom and opportunity as citizens of the United States, and we lament that human sin has wreaked havoc in our world and perpetrated violations against the dignity of other human beings, and that we have not yet attained the ideals upon which our country was founded. Therefore, we commit to remember that our first and highest citizenship is in the kingdom of God, and to never try to strive for liberty and justice for all, to act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with our God. At this time, we please rise for our invocation, to be followed by the singing of our national anthem. Today's national anthem is sung by 2 Union cheerleaders, Riley Barr and Rachel Thomas. Lord, we thank you so much for the day you've given us, God. We thank you for your love, your mercy, and your grace. We thank you for saving us. God, we just pray that you would be with us today. We'd honor and glorify you in all that we do. We thank you for everything that you've done for us. God. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars
by Barry Williamson, Baraki Sadati, and Sarah Anderson. A 6'2" freshman guard from Memphis, Tennessee, 0, Jesse Payne. A 5'8" junior guard from Edgewood, Kentucky, number 5, Aiden Rusatz. A 6'1" senior guard from Gettysburg, Maryland, number 13, Daryl Lewis. A 6'3" junior guard from Cincinnati, Ohio, number 20, Nick Geisel. And a 6'6" freshman forward from Olive Branch, Mississippi, Victoria Payne. And now the starting lineups for the Bulldogs. Head coach by David Newton, his assistant by Easton Mazzoli and Sean Blackburn. S6 senior guard from Independence, Kentucky, number 3, Jesse Hawkins. A 6'1" freshman guard from Broward County, Florida, number 5, Justin Lillard. A 6'4" junior guard from Camden, Tennessee, number 23, Hunter Smith. A 6'8" freshman from Serbia, number 24, Ishak Georgievic. And a 6'4" junior from Porter Heights, Tennessee, number 33, Tom Parks.
And thank you very much, Stephen Aldridge. And here we go. Union and Christian Brothers, the sequel. And it would be very hard to duplicate the finish of last night when Aiden Rusatz took a dish off. It looked like, if you had to put an analogy, it looked like the old hook and ladder play in college football, where you got a guy that's running down the field as hard as he can, and then all of a sudden he dishes off to a guy behind him, leads the blockers, and you go all the way. And it's the last thing you expected to happen. 1.6 seconds left, and having to go the length of the floor, you would have expected we were going to overtime, but it did not happen. So now Union is in a must-win situation today as far as the conference tournament is concerned, as far as getting a home game. And to jump it is going to be Georgievic against Peyton. And let the games begin. Here we go. Bulldogs with it. Our crew today, the lovely Muna Grace Alhajo, the lovely Ethan Voss, and the moderately lovely Lawson Mann. And the bank shot goes through. Bulldogs with first blood. And your director is the incomparable Paul Schultze. Christian Brothers, the Buccaneers, they do a lot of rotation, particularly beyond the perimeter. Last night, most of their buckets came in the paint or beyond. They did not go to the inside very heavily. Fall-away jumper is not there for Lewis. And Union on the attack very fast. Last night, Union blew 2 9-point leads. It looked as though at one point they were going to take it and run off with it. And then here came this Christian Brothers team that was playing with house money, absolutely fighting back. You got 9 on the shot clock, and the fall away, not there. Parks tried to tap that one through, but he was off balance. Got a fair crowd. Not like last night was one of the better attendance games of the season because they are beginning to allow a few more people to come in. We have been under a lot of restrictions about that this season. And the dish off, and once again, there's your man, Rusatz, who had such a brilliant game last night. We tried to interview him before the game today, and his coach said no. Guess he wanted to protect him from extra attention, but we tried. Christian Brothers last night shooting very, very strong from outside the arc. Union did too. And there's another one bouncing off the back of the iron that was unkind for Hawkins. Rusatz showed me that he could do a lot without the basketball. The long bomb not there, and the rebound coming off to Vic. And this Union Ball Club, they can go in spurts and really put on a show, and the fall away is not there. Off balance and off to the right for Georgievic. This is resembling a little bit of the start of last night where we got to the 10-minute mark in the first half, and it was only 11-10. The teams just seemed to be a little shaky with their rhythm. And as Dave Niven said in the pregame interview, this is one of those things that I don't think a lot of, and it's a jump ball, and so it's going to go back to Christian Brothers underneath. Niven said to us, he said, this is something that he hopes they never go on this kind of schedule unless it's a necessity. And checking in now for Christian Brothers is Daniel Luce, who comes off the bench. Last night he came off the bench brilliantly with 12 points. He's a tremendous sixth man for this team. They really had 6 players last night that could do just about anything. And the jumper from outside, and they tried to tap it away, but they tap it to Union. Parks is going to go back-to-back. He's got nowhere to go and finally managed to get it outside, and the hook is there. A floating hook on the roll by DeBuck. And if you've ever tried something like that, it is extraordinarily difficult to do, going to your right and then hooking back to your left as he just did. And he gets the roll. He had so many friendly rolls last night, did Ruthsatz, and there you go. This is the guy that you got to watch for, because he literally kept Christian Brothers in the game, and that was a careless mistake. Down the stretch last night, Union had a couple of really bad passes that hurt, led to turnovers, and kept Christian Brothers in the contest. And remember, on the line, Christian Brothers is not going to be in the tournament, but they would love to play spoiler and deny Union the opportunity, because they have nothing to lose here. They've had a rough season because there were cancellations. At one point, they thought they were going to have to cancel their entire season, and the jumper right there through the heart beautifully. So Nick Deifel gets his first basket of the afternoon. Last night's game was played relatively swiftly. And driving hard, just too much on that left-hand layup for Djordjevic. Up. That was one of those that looked almost like the old carrying the basketball trick like a loaf of bread was Lewis, and turnover. Union will play it when we come back from this timeout.
Community leaders are talking about Steve Beverly's TV classics, but are they serious? Do they like classic TV? Do they really watch?
That's a lot of questions in one sentence, Steve.
What do they think about the host?
I don't have any clear answers to that.
What usually happens if you watch TV classics?
A very entertaining evening for people.
Watch TV classics Saturday and Sunday at 7 on TV6.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Thank you, Dr. Joanne, and I look forward to being with all of you about 2 hours after this game is over in the studio, as we'll have Steve Beverly's TV Classics. Tonight we got Bob Cummings, we got Gail Storm. We have the very first Tonight Show that was ever done. We got an episode of Dragnet from 1969, and then we've got Beat the Clock and Truth or Consequences, 2 of the craziest game shows that were ever on television. So that's on Steve Beverly's TV Classics tonight from 7 to 10 right here on E+ TV6. Christian Brothers with the lead 7-4 here at the first media timeout, and this is one of those situations where really early control of the game does not necessarily preclude what is going to happen down the road, because Union fairly well controlled things. They were up 29-20 in the first half before this Christian Brothers team came back late in the half and narrowed it down to a 3-point margin at halftime. And then here you go, Union back out to another 9-point lead and ends up losing it on the final back. That was the only time, Paul Schultze, our director, was telling me about last night. We were thinking that was the only lead that Christian Brothers had in the whole game last night when they hit that final shot to win it 69-66. Bulldogs on the attack once again. Parks is one of these, can do anything he wants to with the basketball. He's a good disher as well as shooter. Fall-away jumper. Again, the iron was unkind, and a lot of volleyball tips finally winds up in Lewis's hands. Christian Brothers does not do a lot of transition baskets, and Union's defense did a lot to keep that from happening last night. Get down to 15 on the shot clock. Ruthsatz, he is just having himself a weekend. He has 8 of the 10 points so far. And so Christian Brothers out to the early lead once again, and Union does not want to be caught flat-footed in this one, because then they would have to wait on the outcome of the game with West Alabama to determine whether they are going to have a game at home for the tournament on Tuesday nights. And I'll tell you how the tournament is going to function when we get to the next time out. Christian Brothers trying to make this out to a 3-possession lead early. This is somewhat of a flip-flop of last night. Look at that bomb go through, and Dave Nivens going to take time out as Deifel just decks it. So Union again struggling here in the first half. It's 13 Christian Brothers, 4 for Union. Let's take a timeout.
When I first came to Union, it was already like March or April of my senior year, and I hadn't decided where I wanted to go. I was looking at big Christian schools, small Christian schools, even state schools. I didn't want a Christian school that would just hide me away from the world and like just teach me to live within a Christian environment. If I had to sum it up in one word, I would definitely say opportunity. It's given me so many chances to be a leader in different clubs and organizations. It's given me the chance to expand professionally, to build my portfolio. It's given me a chance to pursue my own interests and passions, and it's just been an extremely encouraging and empowering environment.
Allie Rinkins, who at one point in time actually directed a couple of basketball telecasts years ago here at Union University. Fine young lady. And here we go. Bulldogs just shell-shocked, going down by 9 here, and it's Ruthsatz and Deifel that have, between the two of them, all 13 points, and it was a hesitation on the dribble. He didn't see that, but DeBuck is called for it, and there's the turnover. So Union is struggling a bit with precision right now. That's the second turnover of the game. Christian Brothers has converted the first turnover into a basket, and if they do that here, they're going to be in a double-digit lead. Nobody got a lead of more than 9 last night. In fact, nobody had a lead, period, that was more than 9, because Christian Brothers didn't lead until the very last shot of the game. Notice how crisp the passing is, particularly down those lanes, but they have a very difficult time going in for layups. Fall-away jumper is not there. And they slap it around and tried to knock it off of the foot of Parks. It didn't work. Yeah, that one was a little gamble. Mistimed his pass, and this is going to give Christian Brothers numbers. They're not going to stop him. Goodbye. Loose with the first basket other than Ruthsatz and Deifel. It is a 15-4 lead, and so Union is having to dig a hole early, or at least dig out of a hole. The hole's being dug by Christian Brothers. And from the corner, the 3. It goes through. It looked like it was going to lip out, but Ty Parks makes it a 15-7 game. As we approach the second media timeout, in case you're not familiar with those rotations, it's timeouts after the clock stops after 16 minutes, 12, 8, and 4 in each half. That's in men's basketball only. Again, they're doing that rotation passing from outside. That breakaway they had just a minute ago was the first transition basket that Christian Brothers has had this weekend. Yep, 30 seconds, clock violation. That was great defense by Union. They tried to get it out for a desperation 3, but it didn't work. And checking in now is Garrett Golday for Christian Brothers, and coming out for a rest is Luce. And this is a point right now when you get down to the 12, between the 10 and 12 minute mark, and if you're down like Union has been, you better start making a move. You do not want to go to halftime down by 12 to 15. You want to try to get back in here, and you don't have to do it all at once, just chip away at it. And Parks way off balance with that one. So here come the Bucks, and it is Ruthsatz. Look at that quick release, and he is on fire. Now, he had 11 last night. He already has 11 today, and we're barely 8 minutes into this one. That young man has sure impressed me this weekend. Union trying to get open for the 3, and they could not get the friendly roll. It's a 1 possession, but it's going to go back to the Bulldogs. And we've got a media timeout once again with 11:27 remaining, and Christian Brothers on top, 18-7, back in 30 seconds.
I am currently serving as a lower school physical education teacher at New Hope Christian Academy, which is in my hometown, Memphis. Last year of college is when I made a fresh start with Christ, and it's because of Union's community. They poured into me when I felt lost, when I felt hopeless, and they were very intentional about my growth, about my personal walk with Christ, and I think that was just so important. Not only are you getting high academics, but you are also getting spiritual growth, and you're getting people that genuinely care about you. See, not only in your faith, but also in your career.
And you see some of the fans who are gathered here today. This is Scholars of Excellence weekend here on the Union campus, and so we have a lot of visitors who are here, high school seniors that are competing for scholarships for their academic excellence, and we always are thrilled to have them on campus. They actually do it on 2 weekends during the year, and there will be another one next weekend here on the Union campus. And Christian Brothers on top, 18-7. I also want to salute the many, many people, not just the people who went to get their vaccines, but the many workers from West Tennessee Healthcare who helped, and from other health agencies at the mass vaccination extravaganza today on the campus of Lane College. We were there live for West Tennessee Today at about 11 o'clock this morning. It moved very, very smoothly, and we got a lot of shots in arms today, and that's a good thing for this community. And Union is trying to find a good thing right here coming out of that timeout, because the Bulldogs have not had a lot to smile about. And there you go, a high floating layup. Nice job on that one by Vic. So Bulldogs trying to see if they can chip away at this lead, but they don't get down fast enough to stop the three, and it just lipped out. And they're going in transition now and going for the big bomb. Yes! J.C. Hawkins, and they need that from him this afternoon. 18-12, so the Bulldogs are now on a 5-0 run. They want to get this crowd into it. They were into it last night. It was a huge oh, boy. Now, you don't see that happen too often. And Yordovich, pardon me, that was Vic, and he drew the foul. And Union will play it underneath. That is the first foul of this game, and we are only, let's just put it this way, we've gone almost 10 minutes before a foul was called. Last night there were relatively few fouls. The game was not decided at the free throw line whatsoever. He's going to have to hurry. Finally gets it in to Hawkins. And again, trying to switch off of that screen. Nice feed underneath. And the long bomb is there. Vic connects. So the Bulldogs finally, the alarm clock has gone off, and they've got 8 in a row, 18-15. And I will tell you, Christian Brothers will play a lot of reserves in this one. They've virtually emptied their bench because they want to let some of these guys have an opportunity to play today that haven't all season. That one, trying to lob that thing underneath and get it into Golday, and it was just way out of his outstretched arms. And so another turnover, and that is the 4th for CBU, and Union will play it and potentially could tie it. Dave Niven has said all year long he likes this team because of the chemistry they've had. They get along well with each other, and he's felt like that despite the COVID-19 situation, they have really bared up very well. Getting off the defenders nicely. Osman Gay connects, and we got another timeout called by Christian Brothers, and so Union with an amazing 9 in a row. It's an 18-17 game. We'll be right back.
This is the face of a fighter.
I'm fighting to keep Tennesseans working.
I'm fighting for time with my friends.
I'm fighting for football on Saturday.
I'm fighting to see my students back in the classroom.
We're fighting for our small business.
I'm fighting to keep my family safe.
Whatever you're fighting for, it's time for all Tennesseans to fight back. Until there's a vaccine for COVID-19, this is the face of a fighter. Face it. Masks fight COVID-19.
I stand corrected. 10 points in a row for the Bulldogs to close this to an 18-17 game. And so since we took the media timeout at the 12-minute mark, the Bulldogs have just been a steamroller out here. And Christian Brothers is playing some of its younger players, and so some of that may be as a result of that. But I know they wanted to give them some action here in the final regular season game. And Rusatz, look at that rotation, how they switch off, and they have just a complete half-court rotation around the circle. And a whistle away from the ball, and it's an offensive foul. Another turnover, the 5th. So it's going to go back to Union with a chance to take the lead. And let's see how Dave Niven plays this one. There's one thing I will tell you. Dave Niven is one of the finest defensive coaches, and particularly in Division II basketball, that there is. And that's been his bread and butter strength. He back in the NAIA years when he took over this program from Ralph Turner. Defense has been a hallmark of Dave Niven's teams. They may lose, but it's not going to be because they failed to play good defense. And frankly, they played good defense last night. At the end of the game, it was one of those plays that you just, when that ball left the guy's hand, you knew it was going to be there. Right off the back of the iron, but Union with Parks in the offensive board and gets the follow. And the Bulldogs with 12 in a row lead 19-18. And going to the half-court trap defense that we saw a good bit of last night, trying to throttle this Christian Brothers team, trying to drive it all the way, and that's the foul. Going to the line will be loose. When you keep either 2 or 3 in the backcourt, it's not like a full-court press, but what you do when you are in that kind of situation, the idea in mind is to keep the offensive team behind midcourt at least 10 to 12 seconds so they don't have as much time to set up their offense on their half of the court. As Luce connects on the first one. And Mark Campbell has employed that many, many times over the years, particularly with certain teams that he knew he could succeed well with that. And you don't see that too often from the Bulldogs, but Dave pulled that one out last night, and it did make a difference. So we got a seesaw game here as Luce is going to try to go back into the lead for Christian Brothers, and he does. And Luce with 4 on this afternoon's game. Only 3 players have scored for Christian Brothers as the Bucks lead it 20-19. And again, Bulldogs working it around the perimeter. Very, very quick passing lanes. Now trying to work off a screen, and there's a steal. This is going to be Rusatz, and he takes it all the way, and frankly, it was a smart move from behind by DeBuck because I think DeBuck knew he was not going to be able to stop him. Almost stolen away again. DeBuck knew he was not going to stop him, and so don't waste a cheap foul at that point. And we have another media timeout with 7:58 remaining. Christian Brothers retakes the lead, 22-19, back in 30 seconds.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's will you?
And you see these young ladies that with the Union Bulldog outfits and the cheerleaders, I got to salute them this year because with the COVID restrictions, they can't be on the floor and do the routines that they typically would do because of social distancing limitations. And so they have done it the best they could from up in the stands. And they've got 3 songs that they particularly do those rotations on at each half. And so those young ladies work very, very hard in support of Union Athletics, and I want to take my hat off to them and their coaches for all they do for this program. Christian Brothers on top, 22-19. And Union went on a 12-0 run before Christian Brothers picked up a turnover and went to the free throw line as well. So let's see how Dave Niven plays it off of the media timeout. DeBuck, who sets the tone for it in the backcourt. Hawkins, they double team him a lot. Open for the three. No, Hunter Vick just a little bit off. They're going to have to rush for this one. It's going to be a steal. All the way down the stretch he goes. Lewis with his first basket of the afternoon, and again, those cheap turnovers that are hurting Union. Bulldogs now with 4. And let's see how they play. And that was a reach-in foul. I don't think Luce thought he did, but he was trying to go for a steal once again and committed the foul. But as we mentioned, fouls have been so limited here. Union's only committed 1 and only 4 for Christian Brothers here in this first half. Going to try to work it to the inside. Fall away hook is there for Hawkins. JC with 5 now as Union cuts it to a 3-point margin. Bulldogs need to get a couple of stops and try to take this lead at the halftime stretch. Last night they were up by 3. The turnaround is, well, no, they're not going to give him that one because that was tipped by the trailing player. So it's going to be a 2-shot foul. Probably it would have been better if he just left it alone, but when it's up there in the cylinder, you don't go through and once the foul has been called and try to tap it home. And that foul is called on Djordjevic. Let me take that back. That foul was called on Hawkins. 6:53 remaining, and Luce is going to try to see if he can make it a 4-point lead. And does. So Bulldogs want to try to see if they can make it a 2 or 3-1. I want to sincerely thank Thomas Varagese and the folks at E+ TV6 for, and that one looked like we were going to go soccer style. It was, if we'd have had a hole in the wall there, it would have gone into the library probably. Well, the old library, I should say. Wouldn't have gone that far over to the Lagos, but I want to thank Thomas and E+ TV6 for this game was not scheduled to be on television, and because of a rainout of a neighboring university softball game, our production crew was available, and I want to thank Paul Schultze for being available to direct this thing for us today. And so we're pleased that we could bring you this final game of the season of Union University, because we've only had one weekend that we've had the men on. And yes, sir, a little ice cream scoop, the floater for Parks to make it 25-23. Parks with 7 now. Long three-pointer not there, and Bulldogs with a chance to retake the lead or tie it. They move that ball so quickly down the lanes, and they give it away. That's been the problem, and here you go. This is getting to be a highlight film that you don't want to show your kids, particularly these last 2 or 3 possessions. Turnaround is not there, but the foul. And that one is going to be the 16th foul of the half on Christian Brothers. So going to the line for Union is Djordjevic. He has not scored today, but he has now. And has an opportunity to tie it once again. Each team has led the game 5 times. We have had 1 tie. And he gets the friendly roll to tie it at 25, and Union going back to the half-court trap. And they managed to keep him down there about 7 seconds, so it was not an easy trip up the floor, and they get it inside to Luce, who just lost Yordovich, and it is a 27-25 Christian Brothers lead. Good to see Dr. Dub and Susie Oliver, the President and First Lady of Union, as they usually are in their seats. And their daughter, Callie, who is the coach of the cheerleaders. And there's another turnover, and all the way. Union has given up more transition baskets in this first half than they did all last night. Deifel now with 7 in the game, and it's a 29-25 lead. And backdoor play, and hanging on the lip and going through to Yordovich. He has 4, and it's 29-27. I'll guarantee you, if it comes down to the last play of the game and Christian Brothers has it, Union will probably have 3 players on Ruthsats. I don't think there will be any doubt about it. Long 3. It is there. No question whatsoever for Deifel, and he has 10. Ruthsats has 13, Deifel with 10. They are really the offense for this Christian Brothers team, up by 5. Christian Brothers has had such a struggling season. They have played this weekend as if they're a conference contender. You come in late in the season and you got 2 choices when you've had a year like they have. You can either give it everything, leave it on the floor, or you can mail it in. Turnaround jumper off the back of the iron, and the scramble and the rebound comes off to Deifel. And slowing it down, trying to get that tempo just a bit easier, is Tomic. And that was a little bit out of the range of Luce, who thought there was a personal foul on the backside, but frankly the pass was just way too far, and we have timeout. 3 minutes, 52 seconds remaining. Christian Brothers back to the lead at 32-27, back in 30.
If you watch Steve Beverly's TV classics, you may get a snack.
What do you say we toast some marshmallows, huh?
It's with your host,
Big Steve.
Some people watch even if they don't like the host.
Big Steve notwithstanding.
What do smart viewers think?
Oh, Mr. B, you're just a doozy.
Steve Beverly's TV Classics, Saturday and Sunday from 7 to 10 on TV6.
We are in our 11th year of doing TV Classics, and tonight is our 250th show. And so we are very pleased to bring you that entertainment. I know that most of you who are under 55 don't know who a lot of those performers are, but that was when television really was fun. Well, Christian Brothers, as we say, they came in here and they could have folded the tent and just made it a very, very calm weekend, mailed it in and say, season's over, let's just get it home and forget all of this. But they have played as if they were a contender to win the Gulf South Conference regular season championship, and they certainly spoiled things for Union last night. We are giving you at least a 180, if not a 270-degree view of the gymnasium and the fans who are there. And I want to salute the fans from both schools. We've got Christian Brothers fans here who have made the trip. Those who have continued to come out, who are season ticket holders for Union and have been able to be here every single time with all of the seating restrictions that we have. And I hope to goodness, and I know everybody else does, and maybe these vaccines will make the difference, I hope that everybody will be able to be back in a normal place this time next year. All right, let's see how they're going to work it around the perimeter. Union falling back behind again by 5 after temporarily getting the lead. And as we've mentioned, this has been a very quickly played half. Backdoor layup, and right through the heart it goes for DeBuck, who has 4. Union's scoring is balanced. 6 Union players of the 7 who have been in the game have scored. And let's see how Tomic plays it. And they're working around the perimeter. Again, they'd love to get a back door, but that's been very hard to come by, so they have played mostly a perimeter game this weekend. Going for the long bomb. No, iron unkind, and it goes off of the hands. Trying to save it valiantly was Lewis, but it goes off his hands. And so Union will play it with Hawkins to toss it in. And taking their tempo. Union, if Union wins, they will be at home Tuesday night in a game that probably will be against, and I got to look at my sheet right here. It would probably be against, and there you go, with the 3 to tie it up at 32 all. The opponent is still somewhat uncertain, but it would likely be West Georgia coming in here to play the Bulldogs. And I'll tell you what the times will be on Tuesday, depending on whether we have 1 or 2 games. And we got a whistle away from the ball. And it looks like they're going to charge that to Jordovich. That is his second. Not a shooting foul. We have only had 3 team fouls called on the Bulldogs, so Christian Brothers trying to retake the lead, and Ruth Satz will toss it in. Union shooting 52%, but Christian Brothers 63% from the floor. And going for a big one, the high arcer, and it was no doubt about it, Lewis with 5, and once again, Christian Brothers goes ahead at 35-32. Now watch the precision of Union's passing. And they go for the answer shot, and they get it. It's DeBuck. We're tied at 35. This has been a much more offensive first half than we had last night when it looked like both teams had at times just awakened before the game. I'm going to tell you, though, this Christian Brothers team has really impressed me with how, and going in all the way through, and the foul. Nice job of just staying with his game and that floating shot. He knew he was going to get decked, and Deifel gets it and the foul. Deifel has 10 in the game. Now, they haven't chalked it up on our stat sheet yet, so he actually has 12. Ruth Satz with 13 and Deifel with 12. And getting that friendly roll for the three-point play to make it 38-35. Last night, Union led 29-26 at halftime. So it doesn't look like so far that winning on Friday night has been a jinx for a Saturday game. And the jumper, he whirled around, did DeBuck, and fended off 2 challengers and managed to get that one home. DeBuck now with 9. He's Union's leading scorer. Getting close to the end of this first 20 minutes of play, and that one was a dangerous pass. Went too high and went into too much traffic. Bulldogs with a chance to take the lead. And the jumper. DeBuck just a little bit too much mustard on that one. And a little bit of ketchup as well. They're going to probably try to get this down to the final shot if they can. There's about a 5-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. And backdoor, yes, sir. No doubt about it. Luce was going to connect on that. A 40-37 lead. Union only has 9. They'll play it for the last one. And there you go. That was a curling shot that was not there. Having to go with desperation. No! That would have exploded this place if Hawkins had managed to get that to go, and it just barely kissed off the back of the iron. And we go to halftime with Christian Brothers ahead 40-37 in this most important game for the Gulf South Conference. So let me run through the scoring very quickly. For Union, DeBuck is the leader with 9, and hello everybody, 7 points each for Vic and for Parks. So they are your leaders. For Christian Brothers, it has been the Deifel and Ruth Satz show. They have 13 points each and 9 points for Daniel Luce. So it's a 40-37 lead here as we go to halftime. And as we do that, we had an opportunity to visit with Dave Niven earlier in the season and to talk to him a bit about how challenging this has been, not just with the COVID situation that has changed all the protocols, but especially what it's like on the road when they have had to go places and they can't do what basketball teams and their coaches ordinarily can do. So let's go to that interview with Dave right now.
The scheduling obviously was done to try to protect the players from having to do too much travel and to try to stay in the same locale for a Friday, Saturday game. What's it been like to, let's say, whether it's home or on the road, what's it been like to be playing a team on Friday night? And then how much do you learn from that for the Saturday afternoon sequel, if you will, the matinee?
Yeah, it's probably my least favorite part on one hand, but I do enjoy the strategy involved of, all right, what adjustments can we make? But I'll be honest, it's tough. I think it's tough when you beat a team on Friday to realize, oh wow, usually we're excited about that one, and we start thinking about our opponent on 2 days later. We've got a day to prepare for somebody new, and man, it's very different trying to figure out, all right, can we get our players up to the same level after? Do they think it's going to be easier this time? It's just I think it's been tough to come back and win. I think that second game has always been harder for us. On all of them, we've only lost once on Friday, and I did feel like coming off of a loss, we had a little bit of an advantage, just from a standpoint of, hey, we get to play quick, turn it around, and get this bad taste out of our mouths and rectify the defeat. But it has been a challenge. I think that's been the toughest part of the schedule is the quick turnaround against the same team. It's just not something you're used to doing ever. And it looks like for us, we will play West Alabama now. It'll be 4 straight games for them against Union, since they've had games postponed this weekend. So they're going to play us 4 straight. I just think it's a weird year. Everything about it feels funny.
As you bring that up, and I've been listening to a number of coaches over the last 2 weeks or so talk about this is, and particularly at Division I, where you've had an immense number of postponements. It is just so different and mentally to get focused on this. Look at the other side of this, Dave. Then when you finish Saturday, you've got 5.5 days off before you hit the court again, and that's something that you're usually not accustomed to doing.
Sure, it's we're kind of treating it like a football team would. We've got a schedule we stick to each week. They're off on Sunday. Monday we have a pretty light practice where we'll spend time watching film over the things we want to correct from the weekend, and then doing a lot of half court breakdown things of fundamentals that we want to improve on. Tuesday we almost treat it like a game day. We just get them loose, and then we do a lot of playing up and down. We compete against each other. Coach Easton takes one team, Coach Sean takes the other team, and we compete. And then Wednesday, Thursday, we start getting back into the normal routine of, all right, we're preparing for our weekend opponent. So I think it's been good. I think our guys understand that there's some structure to it. It also gives us time to have individual workouts during the week.
Give us a little bit of an idea for the folks at home what it's like under this situation of being in the same town for 2 days straight, and the kinds of protocols and restrictions that you are having to impose, some by the conference and some self-imposed, but what kind of things that you're doing that you would ordinarily not be restricted in doing?
We are not entering any restaurants this year as players. As a coaching staff, we'll go in and grab the food and bring it out. Last week or 2 weeks ago at Delta State, the hotel we were staying at did not allow food from outside, so we ate every meal on the bus. This week, our hotel allows us to bring food in, so we'll which we often do. We often will bring in food to cater a pregame meal in the hotel and things like that. But right now we're not eating any meals. So our meal on the road last night, we ate on the bus. Today we'll eat a pregame meal in the lobby. You're used to a breakfast buffet in the morning. That doesn't exist anymore. So we'll probably be buying more food than we usually would. I know Tommy will be excited about that, and I'll be questioned on that, I'm sure. But the bagel and juice probably doesn't cut it the way a normal breakfast buffet would. So, there's adjustments at every turn. But our guys, I have not heard one complaint from our players. I think they're so thankful to be playing and grateful that we have a season, and grateful that there's a ton of people bending over backwards to make sure we get to have a season. Administration at every school, they're working every weekend because you don't get a weekend without a home game now with the men and women playing at home every weekend somewhere. So listen, there's no complaints. We're happy to do any hoops we have to jump through. We're happy to do them just to get to play.
Here is an encouraging word from Aldersgate United Methodist Church of Jackson.
Hi, I'm Brother Barry Scott with an Aldersgate encouraging word. Several years ago, a writer produced a most unusual book. He had written a 300-page work of fiction that did not contain the letter E in a single time. Now that was quite a clever feat because the letter E appears more frequently than any other letter of the alphabet. By not using the letter E, think of some important words that could not be included in the book. Let me give you a partial list. Mother, father, home, children, love, hope, America, freedom, peace, and ideas. Some of the most important words of all could not be included. What good is such a book except to show how very clever the author was? Of course, the very important name of Jesus could not be included. A lot of people try to build their lives by leaving out God, and that's like trying to write a book and leave out the letter E. Too much of what makes life worth living depends on Jesus to leave him out. I would not desire to write more than a page or two and leave out the E, but I sure wouldn't want to leave Jesus out of my life even for a day. How about you?
Our Sunday morning worship is at 10:45 a.m. at our sanctuary on 1050 North Parkway. Our website, aldersgatejackson.com, and you can email Brother Barry at pastor@aldersgatejackson.com. Follow us on Facebook on Aldersgate UMC of Jackson, and our phone number is 427-4887. Join us for our next encouraging word.
It's not about where you were born. It's not about your gender or the color of your skin, or whether you're rich, poor, or in the middle. No matter what you play, if you have the skill and drive to succeed in school and in sports, we'll provide the opportunity.
When I first came to Union, it was already like March or April of my senior year, and I hadn't decided where I wanted to go. I was looking at big Christian schools, small Christian schools, even state schools. I didn't want a Christian school that would just hide me away from the world and like just teach me to live within a Christian environment. It hasn't shielded me from secular beliefs or opinions or ideas, but it's taught me how to think about it through Christian lenses. There's so many things I love about Union. One of them is definitely the professors. They have all taken such a personal interest in my growth, and they have all been very, very dedicated to helping me grow both as a Christian and as a student. If I had to sum it up in one word, I would definitely say opportunity. It's given me so many chances to be a leader in different clubs and organizations. It's given me the chance to expand professionally, to build my portfolio. It's given me a chance to pursue my own interests and passions, and it's just been an extremely encouraging and empowering environment. That's my Union story.
Oh, the more we get together, the more we get together, the happier we'll be. 'Cause your friends are my friends are your friends. The more we get together, the happier we'll be. The more we get together, the happier we'll be.
Let's take a look at your halftime statistics, and I think you can look at this and see that the real key here. Now, Union's shooting 50% from the floor, and that would be great by anybody's standards. But Christian Brothers, 68%. That's just lights out. That's not what this team usually shoots for the season from the floor. In fact, I'm looking right down at their season stats. They're not a bad shooting team, 47%. But where they are really lighting it up is behind the arc. 55% today on the season. They are only a 35% shooting team, so they are playing above their stats for the year. Union having a good day from behind the arc, 50% from the floor. And then free throws are not a big factor because we haven't had that many of them. 80% for Christian Brothers. Union 2 for 2 for 100%. Rebounding, dead even, 10-10. Turnovers. Union has coughed it up 7 times, Christian Brothers 6, but look how the flip side of this goes. Union has picked up 11 points off of those Christian Brothers mistakes, almost 2 points for every turnover, and CBU has picked 10 points up off Union's 7 mistakes. So that's all just about even across the board, but the big key is that field goal percentage of 68% for Christian Brothers. They are lighting it up. And they lead at halftime 40-37. It's more offense than last night, and that has really what we have seen has become a trademark, because last night it was 29-26 Union in a rather, shall we say, rough first half. Let me bring you up to date on how the Union women are doing down at Christian Brothers. They handily won last night, 97-79, and I'm not sure where it all went today, because the Lady Bulldogs, with 6:40 to go, are trailing 66-50. Now they've sewn up home court advantage for the Gulf South Conference tournament, so they're going to be playing no matter what on this floor on Tuesday evening. But they're down 66-50, and right now Jalencia Williams leads them with 23 points, as you see some of the students who have made their way into Fred DeLay Gymnasium. And Shanique Lucas, who had 32 last night, 16 today, and she's having a fair game. She hadn't hit one from outside. She has been denied every three-point opportunity. Union is shooting a, shall we say, an abysmal 3 of 14. The Union women are at 21% in their game down at Christian Brothers. So with barely 6 minutes remaining, Lady Bulldogs are going to have to, and they just gave up another 3. And so the Lady Bulldogs are down by 19 today after winning by 18 last night. So this is one of those that it looks like the Lady Bulldogs will chalk up a loss in their final regular season game. It will not affect their seeding as far as the conference tournament is concerned. And the Lady Bulldogs will, in fact, on Tuesday night be playing West, and there you go, Dub and Susie Oliver, their daughter Callie, as we see some of the other folks who are here. They'll be playing West Florida, that will come in with a record of 9-9 on Tuesday night. And here's what's going to happen. If we have both a men's and women's game on Tuesday night to open up the conference tournament, the women would play at 5. Then they would close the gym to disinfect it. These are the health protocols they have to follow. They would close the gym, disinfect it, and then they would reopen, and the men would play at 8. They have to have at least 1 hour to clean the gym. So the men would play at 8. It's even possible that the women might play at 4:30, but probably at 5. Now, if it is just a women's game here at Fred DeLay, it will be strictly a 6 o'clock tip-off. So as the cheerleaders walk by and give us a friendly wave, 6 o'clock tip-off. So what I suggest that you do is go to uuathletics.com tonight, and you should be able to determine whether it's going to be a single game or, as Muna Grace Al-Hajjal is deep in concentration, plotting her next shot that she is going to take for you up in the stands. And there she is. Also a member of our West Tennessee Today broadcast team. So go to uuathletics.com tonight, probably I would say after about 8 o'clock, and you should have an idea as to who is going to play who. We know it's going to be Union Lady Bulldogs against West Florida, but what we don't know is if the men are going to have a game, and if they do, who it will be against. And Bulldogs get first blood in the second half, and let's see what happens. Trying to make it a drive, and no way that Rusatz was going to let him have that, but Jordovich, and they're going to need him to, I think, aggressively plot the basket a bit more, and he'll go to the line for 2. A 40-37 Christian Brothers lead, and I know the Bulldogs are hoping that we don't wind up with another cliffhanger finish as we did last night that went against the Bulldogs' direction. Second one was short, and the rebound comes off to Deifel. And again, they're playing, this is Payne the fourth. They've played just about everybody on their roster today. Trying to get, because they're not going to be in the conference playoffs, and so they want to give everybody a bit of playing time as we are in this final regular season game, and it lipped off. And Parks with the rebound, and Union quickly down the floor, and yes, sir. That's how you get it into Jordovich, and the Bulldogs have tied it at 40. That's at least the way you want to start the second half. They did that last night. They got out to a 9-point lead twice in the second half, but couldn't hold it. Chance of defense coming from the Bulldog bench. Down to 10 on the shot clock for these Buccaneers, and it is Rusatz. He had the range, but it just lipped out. He had the unfriendly bounce. And Union aggressively following it, and a nice fall away going to his left. Vic connects to give him 9, and Union takes the lead the first 5 of the half, and Christian Brothers takes timeout. 42-40, Union on top. We'll be right back.
My name is Katie McCoy. I graduated in 2007, and now I am serving at Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary as an assistant professor of theology and women's studies. Let me tell you how Union transformed my life. I was called to ministry shortly after graduating, and when I look back, I can see how the Lord was planting seeds to prepare me for the future that I didn't know I was going to have. Come ready to see how it's all going to integrate into the big picture and overall direction of your life as a disciple of Christ. And that's my Union story.
Bulldogs with a flurry here to take a 42-40 lead after being down by 3 at halftime. And the key for this Bulldog team is playing with confidence. And I'm not saying they didn't last night. They actually looked the part, but every time they would get a 3-possession lead, things would ease back in the opposite direction. So here we go with 18:31 remaining, and the Bulldogs are trying to guarantee themselves a home court game on Tuesday evening. They win here, they'll have it. If they lose, it's still a possibility, but not a guarantee. Everything would depend at the opposite end on what happens with West Alabama this afternoon. And a big scramble, and it looks like it's a 10-second violation. That's what the half-court trap can do to you if you really play it right. It can be a 10-second clock violation. They could not get it down the floor. So now the Bulldogs trying to gain their first lead that's more than one possession in the game. And let's see how DeBuck sets up the offense. They're going to drive the lane. And the fall away. Yes! Vic is hot. He's got 11, the first Bulldog to hit double figures. And the Bulldogs with a 7-point flurry to start the second half. And this is the kind of thing I know that the Union faithful has been looking forward to. Underneath, there was no way. That was a beautiful bounce pass on the inside to Luce. He's got 11. The bounce pass is almost a lost art in college basketball because of the way defenses play, but they managed to do that beautifully. That was a 360 spin. The miss, but the follow by Jordovic. So Union continues control with a 9-2 run to start the second half. And we're also going to tell you what the video coverage is going to be. Backdoor play. Again, another beautiful bounce pass, and the basket goes through for Lewis. He's got 7. We'll tell you what the video coverage is going to be for the Gulf South Conference tournament on our next time out. From the corner, the 3 goes right through the heart. And it is a 49-44 Union lead, biggest so far of the contest. Bulldogs started right out with a 12-4 run. And we're getting close to the first media timeout of the half as we approach the 4 o'clock hour here in Jackson, Tennessee, for those of you watching us live. Now, you got Rusatz way over there in the corner. That one, oh my! I don't know. Can you practice that? I doubt it. This team has done more bank shots with threes during the course of this weekend than I have ever seen. No way that one should have gone in, but it did. And trying for the answer shot, no. They scramble underneath, and the rebound comes off to Deifel. Now they're going to try a little transition. Rusatz out in the corner. They thought about the 3, and it's traveling. That was a hesitation on that call, but he did. He took the step. So there's the turnover, and with 15:47 remaining, we will take this timeout, and I hope you will too. Union is on top by 2.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
For those of you who wonder where our regular broadcast team is today, Alexander Bitterling, who is a senior and has done a brilliant job. Alexander he had a commitment to be home in the Nashville area today, and so that's where he is. He left after last night's game to head in that direction. And then Jackson Milner, as you see some of the young Bulldog fans who are here, Jackson Milner had to miss this weekend because of the Scholars of Excellence weekend on the Union campus. He was a designated host, and what they try to do is to pair up these high school seniors that are coming in and competing for academic scholarships. They pair them up with an existing Union student, and they spend the weekend somewhat as an adjusting mentor to them. And so that's what Jackson is doing, and we certainly support him in doing that. So they had to pull the old geezer out of retirement here to call this one today, but I've been having a lot of fun as the Bulldogs are on top by 2 at 49-47. Bulldogs again trying to be very patient and not make the kind of mistakes they did down the stretch last night. Dangerous pass, but the turnaround is way off to the left. Too much off balance for Jordovic. That one's almost off the knee of Ruthsatz with 20 on the shot clock. They continue that disciplined play that they have, and they try to get somebody behind the Bulldog defenders. And again, that crisp passing, they are so hard to defend, and taking it all the way in for the floater is Luce. He has 13, Deifel 13, and Ruthsatz 13. They have 39 of the 49 Christian Brothers points. And once again, we are tied for the 6th time in this game. Don't be deceived by the 3-10 record. And there you go, that big curl. You've got to have tremendous arm strength to be able to bank that thing in on the run and having to curl back to your left. And that's exactly what Ty Parks did to give him 9. Bulldogs started an early flurry to go up with a 12-4 run to start this half. But Christian Brothers, as we saw last night, continues to make the runs. Double teaming underneath, dangerous situation, and it goes to Union. Excellent defense on the part of the Bulldogs. Dave Niven giving his team a lot of encouragement. And you can see that there is a little difference of an opinion with the official on that side. He's not going to get anywhere with that. Bulldogs again, the biggest lead they've had has been 5. The biggest lead that Christian Brothers had was about 9 minutes into the game with 11. Fall away jumper is not there, and the rebound coming off to Luce. And he's been all over the boards in this game. That was chance of defense coming up again from the Bulldog bench. They'd like to get the rest of the crowd into that. That little left-hand floater does not go, and the rebound, Bulldogs. Here we go with Vic. He's the Bulldogs' leading scorer with 11. From the corner for the 3. Yes! That left-hand corner. And that was the first one of the game here for him to make it a 54-49 lead. And let's see how Union plays this one on defense. This is a big play because if they could get back behind, and once again, they tried the backdoor pass, and you could see Luce was trying to argue that he was fouled, but it gets away from them. And Union has found a way to try to defense these bounce passes underneath. That three-pointer just a minute ago, Bjorn Asgeirsson, and he doesn't play a great deal for this Bulldog team, but he has some ability, and he certainly gave the Bulldogs what they needed there with that 3. And that's going to be an offensive foul. No question about it. That was position on the other side by Peyton. And so Union gives one up. Those are ones that you just absolutely hate to see happen when you're on a roll and Union going back to the half-court trap. And they're not going to back off of that. They're going to see if they can get them confused enough, and they're not going to be able to stop it this time, but they did have one situation where and look at this, they're in deep trouble. So they got it to where there were 19 seconds left before they could get it across the line, and that means it's much less time for them to set off their offense. They're down to 6 on the shot clock. They're going to have to hurry. The big bomb. Oh, in and out. And grabbing it on the side is Asgeirsson. Uh-oh, the steal. This is going to be a hard one to stop. And they didn't get it. It was off the top of the lip on the layup by Ruthsatz. He does not have that happen very often. And that one was kicked away and give it back to Christian Brothers. And I can see the expression on the face of Hawkins. He thought it had been knocked away from him. But regardless, we're going to go to the benches. It's 11:45 remaining, and we've got a media timeout and our score. Union on top by 5 now at 54-49.
Here's my older brother, Tom. When I would visit him occasionally, he would talk about things that didn't make sense to me. Bottom line, I got a call. And my brother killed himself. I've always felt I could have done more. I'm Mike Thompson, and I will listen.
Well, we have a final score in from Memphis. This was not a good day for the Lady Bulldogs, and not being there, it's hard to figure out why, because they had a handy victory last night, 97-79. This is one of the worst defeats that I think in the NCAA era that Union has had in women's basketball. 84-57. They lost by 27 today at Christian Brothers. That means the Lady Bulldogs end up their regular season at 13-5, but they will still be handily in the top position in the Gulf South Conference West, and so they will be taking on West Florida here Tuesday night at either 5 or 6. And we'll get the exact times probably tonight. And again, we suggest that you go to uuathletics.com and find that out this evening. And we'll find out everything will be sorted out because all of the regular season games will be finished this afternoon. The conference tournament starts all over the place on Tuesday night and continues Friday. And the championship game would be a week from Sunday, tomorrow. That one's an in and out. Ruth Satz has had a few that have curled out that he was hitting in the first half. From the corner, Askerson misses that one, but Union with the offensive board. That was one thing that Christian Brothers last night as well tended to do better, was to crash the offensive glass. Askerson almost loses that one. They got 5. They got to hurry. And the foul. That was one of those desperation situations. They probably should have just let him go because he was in trouble, but the foul is going to be called in this case on Lewis. So Union to play it. That is only the second team foul of the half on Christian Brothers. Union has only committed 1. So that's one of the reasons this game is being played so fast today, is because there hasn't been a lot of stopping of the action for fouls or free throws. Dave Niven with 3 timeouts remaining. Christian Brothers with 2. And off balance, and that was a smart move on the part of Hawkins to put that one up because he saw the defenders coming, and so he'll go to the line for a 2-shot foul. And once again, this could give, even one of these two would give Union its biggest lead of the contest. Christian Brothers' biggest lead was at 18-7. In the first half, and Union's biggest lead was 5, tied for it right now. And that is the largest Union lead at 55-49. He hits this one, it's a 3-possession lead. Of course, last night there were 4 times that Union had a 3-possession lead and ended up losing it 69-66 on that bomb from that guy wearing the number 5 there, Rusatz, right at the end. Get them both. So smart move to put it up, and Hawkins now with 11 to make it a 56-49 Union lead. And Union still sticking with that half-court trap and double-teaming the ball in many instances. Ty Parks and DeBuck are really guarding the backcourt. And trying to get that high floater, and it was just a little bit too high off the mark, and let's see who comes up with it. All right, they're going to give it back to CBU. When it comes off a rebound, if you don't have clear possession of it, they don't charge you for a backcourt violation. But they're now down to 10 on the shot clock, but wide open for the 3, and that one was just nowhere near. You could see that the minute it left the hands of Payne. And they had to hurry at that case. Going for the bomb. No. Off the back of the iron, and the rebound coming off to Jones. Christian Jones had a terrific game last night. Hadn't scored today, but he played way above his head last night. And again, trying some rotation. Ruth Satz, he's a 40-minute man. He's just going to be there the entire time. I am so impressed with that young man. The long bomb is, again, off the back of the iron. They're not successfully doing it, but they get the offensive board. And they got another 15 seconds to see if they can rattle something off. And you can see Coach John Riley trying to navigate the movement of his players. And here goes Rusatz. He was tripped, but he didn't get anywhere with it. And they scramble. They did not get it. It did not hit the iron, so it would have been a 30-second violation. Oh, my goodness. That was one too many passes. It got a little too cute with it. Hawkins should have just paused a moment, made it a crisp pass, but he was trying to do what amounted to a volleyball tip over to the side and was way out of the range of his teammate. So Union going again, backing off so much of the half-court trap at that point. You don't want to expend too much energy in your defenders by doing that, so they'll back off in some instances. And with a 7-point lead, you can afford to do that some. And again, they're working around the perimeter. Their shooting percentage is still at 53%, but has cooled off from the 68 in the first half. The hook shot is not there again. Give it back to CBU. And they'll put another 20 on there. They were just shooting at a blistering percentage in the first half, but it is now cooled off somewhat here in the second half. And taking time out is Osman Gay. Do that little lob pass about in the corner. And working again, trying to get it to loose. And that was a little bit of a stutter step, and after about 4 tips, it finally gets into the hands of Parks. And they're going to try to drive the corner way high. Saving it, a huge leap was DeBuck. That one was almost in the next county as we approach the 8-minute mark. And they're down to the final 8 on the shot clock. And that was one where it was just complete. He's going to have to let it go quickly. Yes! Not exactly a design play, but Jordovich nails it. Jordovich with 11, and Union now with its biggest lead at 58-49. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
The road to national championships runs through NCAA.com and the NCAA Sports app. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want all in one place. With live broadcasts of multiple championships across all divisions. With exclusive access.
Ready to go? Sounds fun.
And highlights for every single championship. Stay in the game all season long with NCAA.com and the NCAA Sports app.
Well, that flurry has the Bulldog fans back into it here. There's no way that that was a design play. That's just a desperation, and you hope on the final second of the possession it goes through, and Union now by 9, which that matches its largest lead of the weekend. They had 3 9-point leads last night that they could not hold. But this is huge for them because they would like to have, and I'm sure the fans would love to have, a doubleheader that's going to be separated by about anywhere from 75 to 90 minutes. And there's Paul Schultze, our director extraordinaire, who we appreciate his great professionalism as he guides the shots. And he does this, I want to tell you, Paul does this for Worthy Road Productions in so many high school games in the area, special sports. And there are Lawson Mann and Ethan Voss on your upstairs cameras. We've shown you downstairs Muna Grace Al-Hajjal, and she's also one of our regular reporter anchors on West Tennessee Today. And I'm glad to have all of these. There she is, Muna Grace. Looks like she's trying to hide from something there as she is behind that viewfinder. And here we are. Hello there, Muna Grace. We are high atop everything this year, and we have a great vantage point of the court. It's reminiscent of the way it used to be when we were 80 feet in the air at Oman Arena for the old NAI Women's National Championship tournament. Hard to believe that it's been 10 years since that tournament left Jackson. 10 seconds on the shot clock. On the inside, and the foul. That was one of those that Luce trying to force that home. He knew he would probably draw the foul because he had 2 defenders crashing in on him. So we have 7:35 remaining. And after that finish last night, I don't put anything to chance. 9-point leads are nothing with these two teams the way they played last night. And they get things cleaned up. And here we go with Luce at the line. 13 points and well short. He's 3 of 5 from the line. Christian Brothers 4 of 6 for the game at 67%. Union 5 out of 6 for 83%, but you can see nobody has been in double digits from the free throw line, so that is not exactly a big factor in this game. It could be down the stretch. And here's Luce once again. Right down the heart. So here we go. And the Bulldogs have played a very, very impressive second half after being down by 3. They were down by as many as 11 in the first half. High curl, could not get it to bank off the glass, but he draws the foul. And that one is going to be charged to Tomic, the guard. So now we are beginning to see things pick up from the free throw line more as Vick goes to the line. He and Jordovic each have 11 for Union. Hawkins with 10, Parks with 9, and DeBuck with 9. It is a really balanced scoring attack for the Bulldogs and an opportunity for them to go up 10. Nope. Too much on the back of the iron. His form looks really, really good. Sometimes you just get to a certain point in the game and you're there and you just push it too hard. And he's going to try to see if he can nail this one and put it back to a 9-point margin. No, missed them both, but Union with the offensive board and going for the bomb. No. They could not get the second offensive rebound. That one goes to Tomic. So Union lost an opportunity to really pad this lead, and that's what happened last night when they were up by 9 3 different times, and they just could not seemingly get over that margin to make a 4-possession lead out of the game. And that's where you really put the pressure on your opponent. And that's going to go underneath. The foul is called, only the third team foul on Union. And put that one in the hands of Jordovic. And that is his 4th. That is not good news for Bulldog fans. And so checking back in for Union, you're going to have Askerson and as well coming back in Ty Parks. As Dave Niven shuffles his lineup and probably will keep. And the follow tip is not there. That was an uncharacteristic move for Christian Brothers, and so Bulldogs really survived a big bump off of that one. A dangerous, almost slow bounce pass, but look how Osman Gay, wearing 34, is just really doing everything he can to get screens, and it was tipped a little bit as he went for that left-hand hook. So here goes that little guy that's got everything with him, and he manages to get it all the way down the floor. Ruth Satz into Luce, who has 16. And once again, Christian Brothers looks to be making its run. They go to the inside to Gay. And the foul. And if you wonder why that wasn't an offensive foul, it's because Deifel was leaning backwards. He tried to sell that, but he was leaning backwards as the foul was committed, as the contact was there. If he could have maintained firm position, he would have been fine, but he was already falling back. It was a good attempt to try to sell it. So Union will play it underneath. The next one, Union will be in the bonus. Nobody got into the bonus last night. That also was a big factor because they couldn't really have those situations to capitalize off of the foul situations. And Union had a foul to waste there at the end. High curl, not there. Rebound coming off to Luce. Christian Brothers, they don't have to rush it right now because there's plenty of time remaining in this one, but they're still playing with a huge sense of urgency. And in the corner, it goes to Tomic. And the guy who is so dangerous with it. And a fall away. Had it blocked. Nicely done. They're down to 5 on the shot clock. The long one is not there. Trying to save it. That's going to be Now, they got another check because that one did hit the iron. The fall away is there, and the foul. Oh, my goodness. How in the world did that ball take so many bounces in Christian Brothers' direction? But indeed it did with 5:21 remaining. So checking out of the game is this Gearson, and at the line for the three-point play to cut this thing to a three-point margin is Deifel. He is 15 in the game, and at the line he has hit his only opportunity. And he has hit his second opportunity. We are now back to a one-possession game. How do you do, everybody? It's looking just like it was last night. And the pace of the scoring has slowed immensely in this second half. In case you just joined us, Lady Bulldogs fell 84-57 to Christian Brothers today. Long three-pointer in there. Hawkins with 13. That one just spun around and dropped through. That was a big one because Union needs to continue to apply the pressure on this Christian Brothers team and not let them get that emotional momentum that they did down the stretch last night. They're down to 12 in the shot clock. Here goes Rusatz. He was a little out of control, almost lost the ball altogether. Nice job of knocking it out of the way and give it to Union. 4:22 remaining, coming close to the final media timeout of this game. But this is, and they're going to come over and talk to the clock operator for a moment. Bill Nettles and Justin Barnard are working the scoreboard today. And Don Richard, the Hall of Famer, is on the scorebook as he has for I don't know how many years, but he is a retired algebra professor and nobody knows stats any better than he does. And it double teaming, but finally working out of that is Hawkins as we get to the 4-minute mark. Trying to go, and that one was a floater that went through. I don't think Christian Brothers was expecting Hawkins to release that one, but he did, and it's now an 8-point lead with under 4 minutes remaining. Christian Brothers with only one timeout remaining. It didn't hurt them last night because they went through the final 12 minutes of the game with only one timeout. But that could be critical down the stretch. They're down again to 10 on the shot clock. What a move on the part of Rusatz. He had not scored since the tail end of the first half. He now has 15. That guy has a huge arm extension on him. We still have one more media timeout coming as we get close to the 3-minute mark. The jumper. In and out. He was robbed, and Osman Gay lost it off its fingertips. Now, that was absolute highway robbery, and now we take the final media timeout. 3 minutes, 4 seconds remaining. Don't go anywhere, folks. Bulldogs by 6. It could be a thriller again.
Oh, the more we get together, the more we get together, the happier we'll be. 'Cause your friends are my friends, my friends are your friends. The more we get together, the happier we'll be. The more we get together, the happier we'll be.
So let's all get together tonight at 7 o'clock on Steve Beverly's TV Classics. We got some fun stuff for you tonight that's going to make you laugh, and if you're a Dragnet fan, you'll enjoy that. I have particularly men tell me, when are you going to have some more Dragnet on? And so tonight is going to be one of those from 1969. And we got a lot of fun stuff for you tonight on Steve Beverly's TV Classics. And there is the lady who is the blonde in the center of your picture is Jennifer Green. And I think that is her son playing for Christian Brothers. Jennifer, when she played for Union University back in the 90s, she was Jennifer Gurley. and she had a three-point shot that could just turn lights out on people. She used to own Belmont. We always used to say that if Belmont was having a banner season, Jennifer could spoil it for them with her three-point shooting. Oh, here we go. Final 3 minutes. Let's see if Christian Brothers can make the rally. If it gets in the hand of Rusatz, I guarantee you it's going to be dangerous. 2:47, 2:46, 2:45. The seconds so perilously ticking off. And the steal right into the hands of the outstretched arms of Vic. 2.5. Now the Bulldogs have to be very careful not to make a silly mistake here. And trying to take it all the way through, the high curling layup attempt is not there. They scramble, and it's going to be a chance on the race. And they're going to take it all the way down, and the layup is there left-handed by Jones. His first basket off the Bulldog turnover. So that one hurt Union because that could have been potentially an 8-point lead, but now it's 4. Remember, Jordovich with wide open underneath. He got behind the defenders, and there you go. Dave Niven's going to take a timeout as Osman Gay nailed it through. We're going to take one more timeout. Union leading 65-59.
It's not about where you were born. It's not about your gender or the color of your skin or whether you're rich, poor, or in the middle. No matter what you play, if you have the skill and drive to succeed in school and in sports, we'll provide the opportunity.
Here we are. I was checking the conference standings because I was desperately trying to find out what West Alabama was doing because that's crucial to this game. West Alabama has defeated Delta State 78-74, and so the Bulldogs must hang on in this one to guarantee themselves a home court opportunity on Tuesday night. If they do not, then that game's going to go to West Alabama, and Union will be on the road against an opponent that we will find out probably sometime tonight. So that's where it all stands. Everything is riding as far as a home court game for the Bulldogs on this one. And the Bulldogs leading at 65-59 with less than 2 minutes remaining. So everybody fasten your seatbelts for this one. If it's like last night, it's going to be a dandy. And that guy right there, Rusatz, he is perfectly calm. And let's see how they play it. They have to be careful not to chew up too much time on the clock. And again, working their same disciplined offense. Here's Luce. And back to Deifel. They got to hurry now with 5. And it's going to be Rusatz with a 30-footer way off the mark. They just simply did not give themselves an opportunity to get off it, and that was a desperation shot. Now, he made one last night from about that range, but not tonight. So this is big. Inside, Gay fends off his challenger and connects. But we're not going to say that put the dagger in it because this team proved last night that it could make the comeback. 67-59. A minute remaining. And again, as we've said in the last couple of minutes, West Alabama has won, so Union must win. As the basket goes through on the backside for Luce, who has 18. He is the game leader, and timeout is called. We're going to keep it right here. As we mentioned, West Alabama has defeated Delta State, won both of them this weekend. And so based on winning percentages, if Union loses this one, then the home court edge would go, and boy, isn't she happy to see herself on TV. The home court edge would go to West Alabama. But if Union wins, then the Bulldogs, and they must win, Union will be here on Tuesday night, and it would be what we would call a split doubleheader The Lady Bulldogs would probably play at either 4:30 or 5, and by conference protocols, they must have at least 1 hour to be able to clean and disinfect the gym because of the COVID restrictions. And there's Paul Schultze way up there in his booth. They have to do that, and so it will be where all the fans have to leave, and then it'll be a whole, like you're doing a whole new game. So that's what it will be Tuesday night if Union can hold on here with this 67-61 lead with 50 seconds remaining. So we'll be able to tell you that much as long. The only thing I will not be able to tell you is who the opponent will be, although it is more than likely to be West Georgia. The East and Western Division schools have not played each other this year, and so you're going to be playing a team that you're going to have to get some video on real quickly, which they will. They'll swap video, but they're going to have a very, very quick turnover of this because you literally have not played anybody. They're going to go to the press, which doesn't surprise me at all, and probably try to go to a quick foul situation, but Union manages to get it away. Very smart court awareness. And they have not gone to an intentional foul, but they did there. It was one of those where Tomic didn't want it to look like a foul, but he bumped into, and I'm looking back here, once again, he bumped into Vic. Vic with 11 points has been rather quiet in the second half. Hunter Vic connects. That's a big one. It's 68-61. This place isn't quite like a morgue like it was at one point in this game when somebody was at the free throw line. 69-61. Now, the big thing is they have to score quick now. This is not something that they can afford to kiss off 12 to 15 seconds, and unfortunately for them, it looks like they're going to. And it is Rusatz with the three. That's why I say you got to be careful of this guy. Now, Christian Brothers has no timeouts remaining. That's one thing that is also in their disfavor. And the key is here, are they going to try to just let Union play out the string with this? Nope. Rusatz finally commits the foul. Here's the deal. They let about 10 seconds go off on the clock before they did that, and that's going to put so much more pressure on them here. This is still, though, a 1-and-1. He must get the first one to get the second one. Men's college basketball, this is the only brand of ball left where you have the 1-and-1 remaining. So let's see what DeBuck does. He'll be in double figures if he connects. And he does, 70-64. I would venture to say if he nails this one, that probably will do it. And he connects, 71-64. Clock doesn't start until you pick it up. They've got to shoot very quickly, and Rusatz is pretty much the guy that has to do it. And once again, this guy is unstoppable, but remember they have no timeouts, and so Rusatz commits the foul. That's only his second. So what they actually are going to hope for in this case with 6.3 seconds remaining, and considering what happened last night, you don't want to take anything for granted whatsoever, but they're hoping he's going to miss this first one. And they're telling, and Niven is over there with the players having a conference with them, and they're just hoping he will miss this first one and they can fly it down the court and do a quick three opportunity. But that's not going to happen. 72-67. It would be almost divine intervention if Christian Brothers could make the comeback now. Missed the second one. So they have to hurry. This is not the guy you want to have it in his hands, and Union commits a foul with 1.2 seconds remaining, but they had 2 to waste. That is only the 5th team foul, so that doesn't hurt at all because they play it underneath rather than shoot. Even if they get one in here quickly and knock it home, Union's going to take this one. He's got to hurry to get it in bounds, and Rusatz with that desperation off to the right, and the Bulldogs gain a split of the weekend, 72-67, but more importantly, Union has also guaranteed itself a home court game on Tuesday night here at Fred DeLay Gymnasium, more than likely against West Georgia. So that's the way it is this afternoon. We're going to take a 2-minute break, and when we come back, we'll go through the stats and give you the player of the game.
Steve Beverly's TV classics can cure what ails you.
I watched and it got rid of my hemorrhoids.
Staying awake at night? Just watch TV classics.
My daughter watched and she would like to sleep.
Do not watch Steve Beverly's TV classics if pipes upset your stomach. Do not watch if high drama leads to emotional distress. And do not turn on TV6 Saturday or Sunday at 7 if hillbillies give you a gallbladder attack.
Ask your doctor if Steve Beverly's Classics is right for you.
With so much information on COVID-19 coming from different directions, trying to find answers to your questions can be a challenge. But we're here to help. The Tennessee Department of Health provides guidance on prevention, symptoms, testing, food handling, and more. When you visit our Office of Minority Health and Disparities Elimination page, you will see a list of resources right there in your community. Places you can contact which can help bring you and your family a little peace of mind. For more information, go to tn.gov/health.
All right, crew, let's get started. Sure.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
Community leaders are talking about Steve Beverly's TV classics, but are they serious? Do they like classic TV? Do they really watch?
That's a lot of questions in one sentence, Steve.
What do they think about the host?
I don't have any clear answers to that.
What usually happens if you watch TV classics?
A very entertaining evening for people.
Watch TV classics Saturday and Sunday at 7 on TV6.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Let me run down your scoring here in tonight's game, and then we'll give you the final stats. For Christian Brothers, your leader was Aiden Rusatz, 21 points, an amazing showing once again, but it was not enough, as he didn't have enough for a miracle finish as he did last night. It was 18 points for Daniel Luce, and for Nick Deifel, 16. For Union, 4 players in double figures, and Ty Park's almost there with 9, but you had J.C. Hawkins with 15 points, Hunter Vick with 13, DeBuck had 12, Yordovich with 11, so 4 players in double figures, 9 points for Parks. And so everybody that played for Union scored, and so the Bulldogs win it 72-67, and they had to gut it out. They did not have anything handed to them today. So what we're going to do is we're going to take another 2-minute break. When we come back, we'll give you your final stats, and I'll tell you who the player of the game is. So stay with us.
When I first came to Union, it was already like March or April of my senior year, and I hadn't decided where I wanted to go. I was looking at big Christian schools, small Christian schools, even state schools. I didn't want a Christian school that would just hide me away from the world and like just teach me to live within a Christian environment. If I had to sum it up in one word, I would definitely say opportunity. It's given me so many chances to be a leader in different clubs and organizations. It's given me the chance to expand professionally, to build my portfolio. It's given me a chance to pursue my own interests and passions, and it's just been an extremely encouraging and empowering environment.
I am currently serving as a lower school physical education teacher at New Hope Christian Academy, which is in my hometown, Memphis. Last year of college is when I made a fresh start with Christ, and it's because of Union's community. They poured into me when I felt lost, when I felt hopeless, and they were very intentional about my growth, about my personal walk with Christ, and I think that was just so important. Not only are you getting high academics, but you are also getting spiritual growth, and you're getting people that genuinely care about you, see, not only in your faith, but also in your career.
This is the face of a fighter.
I'm fighting to keep Tennesseans working.
I'm fighting for time with my friends.
I'm fighting for football on Saturday.
I'm fighting to see my students back in the classroom.
We're fighting for our small business.
I'm fighting to keep my family safe.
Whatever you're fighting for, it's time for all Tennesseans to fight back. Until there's a vaccine for COVID-19, this is the face of a fighter. Face it, masks fight COVID-19.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's will you?
Union gets revenge for last night's loss with a 72-67 victory over Christian Brothers. Here are your final statistics. Even Steven when it comes to shooting from the floor, 51% for each team. In three-pointers, again, talk about evenly matched. 44% for the Bulldogs, 43% for Christian Brothers. From the free throw line, Union went 10 of 14 for 71%. Christian Brothers, 6 of 8. They didn't get there as often, 75%. In the rebounding, it was so perilously close. 25 for Christian Brothers, 23 for Union. And then in turnovers, Christian Brothers, that was a big factor. They coughed the ball up more in the second half, and Christian Brothers gave it up 14 times to Union's 10, and the Bulldogs managed to capture 13 points off of those turnovers of the Buccaneers, and the Bulldogs' turnovers gave 10 points to Christian Brothers. So again, with a 5-point victory, that's a very, very narrow margin right there. But that's pretty much how the game was told, and the story was, as Union won it 72-67. Now, we went through those stats just a moment ago to tell you about how everything was flowing. And with the balanced scoring that you have had, it's really difficult to pick one because they were so close. So what we always do, we try not to take the easy way out and say we'll give it to the whole team. We usually will go to the leading scorer in the game, and so that goes to J.C. Hawkins, and so he will be our choice of player of the game as he picked up 15 points for Union and 3 big three-pointers that were so very, very important to the Bulldogs' cause as they win 72-67. Our final minute. This wraps up the regular season for Union University and the entire Gulf South Conference. Tuesday afternoon, there will be a women's game, and Tuesday night there will be a men's game here at Fred DeLay Gymnasium as the conference tournament begins. So go to uuathletics.com tonight, and you'll be able to see the times and also who the teams will be playing. And how you can get tickets and how many people will be allowed in for those games. Right now, I don't have that complete information for you. But we're going to continue to try to keep you updated on that. But it's been a joy to be with you today. I didn't see myself doing this season, but I am back here for this one game. And I hope all of you will take time to worship with your family tomorrow and have a very blessed rest of your weekend. And so until we are with you, and check out how you can see the video of the conference tournament. And until then, this is Steve Beverly saying thanks so much for joining us, and so long from the great hub city of West Tennessee.
These 4 people meet to compete for the prizes of a lifetime on